and we're talking about Caligula. Have you ever seen the play? Either of you?
I saw the movie.
Ah, very good. When was that? I can't remember.
Like 70s, with Malcolm McDowell and John Gilpin.
Yes. Yes.
I remember seeing that, yep.
So, I mean, we've got to not confuse characters here. And, again, you might not remember it all, but the expression "there will be blood" sort of sums up the tyrannical reign of somebody called Gaius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, better known as Caligula. So he was also known as Caesar, right? But not the other Caesar that we're used to. This guy was the third Roman emperor who ruled from the years 37 to 41 before he was assassinated. And he was considered mad. And part of that, he apparently murdered at whim and at will and on a whim. So an organisation called Burning House has crafted this really bold adaptation of the life and times of this anti-hero who left a trail of destruction. It sort of starts off after the death of his sister, who also happened to be his lover. Her name was Drusilla. And so, in other words, we're talking incest here. Caligula has gone missing for 3 days. And the senators are deeply concerned as to what has become of him. When he returns, Caesar declares that he wants the impossible. He wants the moon, no less. And he says so as Rome is on its knees financially. And so he lays out this plan to turn the economy around in 2 easy steps. Now, I'd like to think, don't try this at home, kids, is what I was thinking of. Here are the 2 easy steps. The first involves everyone in the empire being forced to disinherit their children. Number 2, much more drastic, executing people. Right? So if you've got less mouths to feed, all of that stuff. And these are the decrees that are to take effect immediately. And when he's challenged, Caesar makes it clear that his words are no practical joke. He knows he's on a path himself to self-destruction, but he doesn't care. And the reason for that, he maintains that existence is meaningless. As I say, he's lost his sister and his lover. And he loathes all the senators because they're such willing slaves. Among his more outrageous endeavours is a desire to make suffering funny. I kid you not. No overtures from those closest to him make a shred of difference because he freely admits, because he can feel the darkness that I was talking about rising. And then it begins. The children and parents of his senators are killed before he starts taking the lives of the senators themselves. Caligula's cruelty, his heartlessness, seemingly no bounds. So as a study of psychological torment and physical violence, Caligula the play, originally published by Albert Camus in 1944, is, what shall I say, out there. The dialogue I witnessed at theatre works, often incendiary and certainly generates a reaction. Liliana Dalton, a woman, is particularly impressive as the embodiment of evil, poking, prodding and provoking. So Liliana Dalton plays Caesar. Jake Matricardi does not put a foot wrong as Scipio. He's this timid young man who really loves Caesar and tries in vain to set him on another path. In fact, most of the 12-strong cast is sound, although this concerned me a bit. I don't think I've ever seen a play where one of the people who was an actor, the voice didn't project at all, and I was sitting in the front row, and I was struggling to hear what he had to say. And then there was another bloke, I swear he had a megaphone in his arms and his hands. His voice was just booming, and the differential between the two didn't make any sense to me at all. The rest were all, if you like, normal sound. I also thought that the first act had more in it than the second. The second act tended to drag for me. I'm actually not convinced that the storyline, as it's presented, had a couple of hours in it. Still, overall, I did admire the production's audaciousness, no question about that. The set's rather interesting, a faux marble diamond-shaped stage, ringed by an assortment of glitter that has a potpourri look about it. And you've got small busts reflecting the era, Roman Empire, of course, and you've got a large silver moon above the stage area reflecting the action, and I suppose also reflecting Caesar's self-absorption. Riley Tapp is the designer of it all. So you can imagine from what I've just described that Caligula is not for the faint-hearted. It's directed by Robert Johnson. It has been playing at Theatre Works. So it's been an interesting exercise, shall I say? I'm not sure I'd recommend it to everybody because it's for selective tastes only. So that was that one. Now on